welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Kylie and I post content about being a young person living a fulfilling life even though she has a sleep disorder. If you don't know what narcolepsy is, you can head on over to my Narcolepsy 101 video where I break it down for you. This series of videos is called Your Narcoleptic Stories. In a nutshell, people send me their stories to the email address in the description below. The reason these are sent to me and that I am sharing them with you is to not only raise awareness about narcolepsy, but also to make others feel related too. And if you don't have narcolepsy, no worries. It can just be entertainment for you. My plan is to give you at least one story a week going forward. I also want to note that I am reading these stories for the first time right now as I sit in front of this camera. I did not pre-read them. And the reason for this is because I wanted to capture my genuine response to the person who sent me their story. Let's start with today's story. Hi, here's what I've gone through with my narcolepsy. So all my life, I was always feeling tired and exhausted. I remember in high school, I would be so tired all day long. Some classes I struggled to stay awake in. I would go home after school and nap for a couple hours, then have dinner, then I would be awake until midnight or after, and it was a cycle for me for years. When I got older and had my kids, I have 3, the biggest issue with having them was sleep. Getting only a couple of hours or so at a time was torture. I would have to feed them laying down in my bed. I breastfed my oldest 2 for a couple months and my 3rd for about 5 months. I would fall asleep and they would fall back asleep after eating. When they were young, I was always needing a nap throughout the day. Having to wake up in the mornings was torture. It was like waking up from anesthesia and having to take care of them. I'm going to side note and say that I am only a couple weeks away from my due date for my first child, and this could easily be my reality here soon. But I digress. She says, plus I worked full-time. Then I moved and started college to make something of my life. I was single, so it was just me and my older 2 kids at the time. I was in college full-time and worked at their daycare part-time. Every chance I got, I would nap in between classes, after classes, or work. And I would have to get my kids a snack or make dinner and have them watch a movie, and they would sit on me or next to me while I napped on the couch. Thank God they never got too mischievous about things. Although I took a nap one day and my son decided to use the living room carpet as his canvas with the crayons. Classic. She says, and another time both my kids got into my nail polish, hot pink, and colored their bedroom carpet with it. Took me 2 weeks to scrub it out. My family would get frustrated with me because I would nap a lot, but I literally felt like I had no control over it. The feelings are what was horrible. I've always had to sleep for 10 or more hours, and my naps were always 2 to 5 hours long. I finally saw a sleep disorder doctor 2 years ago, and he had me take the sleep study and the MSLT. Side note, MSLT, basically this series of napping tests that ultimately determines if you have narcolepsy or not. She says, I was diagnosed in January of 2021 with narcolepsy type 2. I have hypersomnia, which is why I had to sleep for hours and hours. Also, found out I have sleep delayed phase disorder. So my mind isn't naturally tired until 2 to 4 a.m. I am 80% or more in light sleep only about 10% in deep sleep, and I didn't hit REM at all for my overnight sleep study. In 2 of the 4 naps I took, I hit REM within 2 minutes, and the other in 30 seconds. So the sleep disorder doc had me see a narcolepsy specialist. He's the one that diagnosed me. For those of you unfamiliar, and if you haven't watched my video about how to diagnose narcolepsy, where I explain all the sleep tests and how to determine if you have narcolepsy, basically that series of nap tests, they make you sleep multiple times for 20 minutes. And typically people without narcolepsy will not go into REM sleep until at least 8 minutes of that 20. And what she is saying is that in 2 of the 4 naps that she took, She went into REM within 2 minutes, and then the other 2 naps, she went into it in 30 seconds. That's basically saying, yep, you have narcolepsy. Currently, I am on stimulants to help me stay awake during the day, and those are a godsend. But my issue is still that I need to sleep for hours. I'm 41 now, and things just make so much sense as to what I've been through. No matter when I go to sleep, my body only gets light sleep, and that's why I need to sleep for hours and hours. I hate it. Absolutely, girl. The fact that she says she's basically on stimulants now, I want to side note here and say that I do have a video in my breakdowns of narcolepsy playlist. I'll link it here, all about the treatment of narcolepsy. In that video, I explain that there are basically like 2 types of medications for narcolepsy, and I summarize them as uppers and downers. So she's saying that she takes a stimulant, and that's something you take during the day to help you feel more awake. And then the downer, as I call it, is something that usually helps you obtain the restful sleep at night, the deep sleep, and that in turn helps you feel more awake during the day. So it sounds like she's just on stimulants, the uppers, during the day. So when she is trying to sleep at night, she's getting very light sleep, and she's having to overcompensate and sleep way more than the average person. She says, all these issues affect our relationships. All the men I had been in serious relationships with have always had issues with me sleeping so much. People get mad and frustrated. I've had guys threaten to leave me because of it. I'm going to pause there and say it's understandable for someone who doesn't have knowledge of what narcolepsy is to get frustrated with some of the symptoms that come with it and some of the things that you may be dealing with that may affect them because they are your partner. However, you choose who you want to be a partner with. So if they chose to be a partner with you, then they need to accept everything that comes with being your partner. And realistically, what most people, in my opinion, do not get is that if you think it's frustrating, how do you think I feel as the person dealing with it? As the person feeling like the inconvenience for sleeping longer or having this or that symptom due to my narcolepsy. On a positive note, I think things like this happen in your life for a reason. Anybody that doesn't understand and won't stick around or would threaten to not be with you because of that, thank you, higher power. I'm not super religious, but I am spiritual, and my thing is that if it's meant for you, it'll be for you. And sometimes you have to accept the signs that the universe is giving you, that this is not the right person for you, and they are showing you that. I don't even know you, but I would rather you be with somebody that fully accepts you, or you be by yourself and be genuinely happy, rather than you be with somebody who doesn't accept you for who you are, or who makes you feel bad for something that you cannot control about your life and your health. She says, it affects jobs. I've only been fired from one job my whole life because of my health issues. Working day jobs is better for me, but it's always such a struggle for me to wake up and get up. I will say, I started experiencing my symptoms at 18 years old, so right when I started working, and I started working as a hostess and as a server, and you know how that's like random hours, and you don't know where you're gonna be 3 Thursdays from now at 7 p.m. And I've too felt like it was better for me to have a schedule, and I have worked day jobs ever since, except for a short period of time when I worked on a cruise ship, which was really just me proving to myself that I could push my limits, and was like a slave working 16 hours a day, no days off. 10 out of 10 do not recommend working on a cruise ship if you have narcolepsy, or in general, really. But sorry to get off on a side note there. Back to the story. She continues to say, my mom would always tell me that she too was tired raising us kids and such, but she had to take care of responsibilities. It makes me mad because it's not that simple when you really have these kinds of issues. I know I keep stopping a lot, but there's certain times where I want to comment on something and I don't want to forget if I wait till the end. I love that you say it's not that simple when you really have these issues, and you are so right. People can say, oh, I had to take care of responsibilities, and oh, I had to do this, and oh, you're just making excuses, or, you know, oh, as a parent, you're gonna be sleep deprived. I've said this to friends before because I am currently expecting my first child. It's like, Yes, Linda, you probably felt really sleep deprived because you're used to getting restful sleep that actually makes you feel capable of getting through your daily tasks. And now that you have a newborn baby, your sleep schedule is all kind of crazy and you're staying up in the middle of the night and this, that, and the other. And so, yes, it is turbulent for you right now, and I understand that you're sleep deprived. But imagine someone that has been going through that for most of their life for no apparent reason, and nothing helps. And you can literally live on your own and still be sleep deprived, and then throw in a newborn. So don't tell us, sorry, I had to get a little sassy here, but don't tell us that we have to take care of responsibilities. So suck it up, Buttercup. In these situations where people say things like this and you know it's not the same, you're comparing an apple to an orange, you just kind of have to like let it roll off your back and just say, yeah, or whatever, or smile and nod, as they say, because I think most people will not take the time to understand the narcolepsy to get where you're coming from. And then some people, I think for their own benefit, they just want to feel like they're justifying why they are so tired, but they got it done. So they'll undermine the fact that you have real medical issues that make you sleep deprived regardless of what you're dealing with. So I feel you, girl. Let's continue. She says, now I get scared and sometimes I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid I won't be able to get up when I have to. I live with my fiance now and he just doesn't get it. He says there are so many variables as to why people don't get good sleep. And yes, I agree with that. But he thinks I haven't tried any or all of them to see if it will help me. I have tried many things. I've had this all my life. People don't understand if they don't go through it, but they say they understand. No, ... they don't. One more time for the people in the back. They say they understand, but they don't because they haven't been through it. Now, I think there's something to be said about a person that tries to understand, because I think I am that way in life. I can say, obviously, no, I have not gone through your situation, but I could understand how you would feel that way being in that situation. But there's a difference in saying,
oh, there's a lot of variables why people don't get good sleep.
Like, sir, you're right. There are a lot of variables why people who do not have narcolepsy don't get good sleep. For example, if on a regular basis you get restful sleep at night because you have the type of chemical in your brain that allows you to do so, and let's say you're stressed at work and you're kind of up in the middle of the night thinking about it, or you're sick and you just can't get comfortable, or say you're going through a bad breakup or a divorce, and those things may keep you up at night. Yes, those are variables that could affect your sleep. Other things, like say you work a crazy schedule, or you are somewhere where it's really loud and you can't fall asleep with the loudness. Maybe your AC is broken and you cannot sleep when you're sweating to death. Those are just some examples of variables that could affect your sleep. Now, let's imagine in a perfect world that everything's perfect. You got the temperature exactly how you like it. You got the right amount of light you have that you like, or darkness that you like. Your job's going fine. You got no extra stresses. Let's say you don't even have kids, so you don't even have to worry about that. You're not taking care of anyone else. You're not sick, so you're not uncomfortable. And you're not going through a breakup. You're happy in your relationship. But you still aren't sleeping well. Did it ever occur that it could be the fact that you're missing a chemical in your brain that literally promotes wakefulness? Sorry to get off on a rant. I just wanted to kind of explain, like, hello, some people need to open their eyes, especially if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. In my opinion, that kind of shows a lack of maturity in a person if they are not willing to kind of see what you're dealing with, or to understand what you're dealing with, or even educate themselves. Because realistically, you could go just like on Harvard's website, and I'll link the website below in the description, which gives really good detail about what narcolepsy is. And it has nothing to do with these outside variables that your fiance may be speaking about. Obviously, I am not a psychiatrist, I am not a health professional, none of these things, and I am not here to tell you what to do with your life. But as your narcoleptic friend, I would suggest maybe not marrying somebody until you know that they have your best interest in mind, and someone that would take the time to learn with you or for you about your sleep disorder in order to help you sleep better. Because realistically, in what world would you purposely want to have terrible quality of sleep and have it affect your daily life and the lives of the people you love? You are taking a stimulant during the day. I highly, highly, highly recommend, as your narcoleptic friend you've never met, that you speak to your neurologist and see what options may be good for you. Maybe you need a different type of medication. Maybe you need a combination of more than one. That way you can kind of help improve the quality of your life for yourself. No hate to the fiance, but everyone else in your life is an afterthought. You deserve good health and the best quality of your life for yourself. So that's my suggestion to you. This story is a very good example of how on average people don't find out that they have narcolepsy for a very long time. Realistically, 75% of people that have narcolepsy are still not diagnosed because there are so many symptoms that are so vague that could be this, could be that, and I think some people are just not pushy or they just deal with it. And sometimes I think they may let people around them get to their head to where they think, maybe it's not that bad, it's just me, or it's outside variables, etc. And your story does a good job at showing, like, for a lot of people, I think on average it's like 10 years before they are diagnosed with narcolepsy. It may be more than that, but I know it's quite a long time. And that's really sad. That's one of the biggest reasons I started this channel, is because the amount of people that are not having the best quality that they could possibly have of their life because they're not diagnosed, it blows my mind. Because in my story, you can hear my whole story by clicking the link above, but in a nutshell, I was normal until I was 18, and it took about a year and a half to get diagnosed. But I was so pushy and adamant and like on these people that I got a diagnosis in a year and a half. And to me, that felt like a lifetime. So I cannot imagine these people that go 10 plus years, 20, 30 years without being diagnosed. I mean, how do you not just lose all hope? Kudos to you for staying strong and still doing your best to live a normal life, even when you didn't have your diagnosis. I'm glad that you finally got one and that you've had some improvement. I hope for the best for you. I do want to say thank you so much for sending me your story, as it's going to help to raise awareness about narcolepsy as well as help others feel related to. And I wish you nothing but the best going forward. If you or a loved one has narcolepsy and you want to share any story in regards to that, please send me an email at the address in the description below. I would love to hear it and share it with others anonymously. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you would take the time to subscribe to my channel as well as like this video. Both of these things really help towards my mission to raise awareness for narcolepsy. With that, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this video and hear the story that was sent to me, as well as hear my input. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I will see you in the next video.